niane yeriba bedi hu nkomo yerehwe yen dwumadi a yen atudin nkasa ho dan ne baba kasa ho ne ye baba kasa af omen nhyehyei a yedibu so omen eno ne den eno ne manifesto ne ye ni obroni ba kira o kirase a o se eye public policy document party bia ne nhyehyei a odi egu aponso sa nhyehyei no efa ohawe wo men ni mu ene anu eduru enu nti wo hwe manifesto a wa hu ohawe wo men ni mu nyina na wahwehwe anu eduru no wabɔ ne tɔw na ɔde ba bɛka kasape bi akyerɛw se eyi na mapa ho ntama na mese me ba bebu man na wɔde pa ho ntama na wie a afei wɔde wo mo bia ho kwan na afei ebisebisa questions na yebobo ho na saa nkasa ho na ne ye ba bedi na dwumadi a ye ba bedi won a aben a won hu ehu wo mem wa amanyosem ene economy hu nsem party nsem onyame ayen adom ebi waha ebi nso wo mfiri so ya wo mframem me kire a wo beka za wo zoom so ana Kumi Ansakwe, or your senior lecturer, Department of Political Science. You, Dr. Ansakwe, waha, doc, you, make Dr. Ansakwe, or ye utijenia watchra do legum, babrum fishia bianang. Na me me in school ni, intine, in common avede, we are your fay, Doctor, Ndiakwaba. You, Ufilate, na waba, anopea, young wudunti. Major medawase ni odi so Dr. Abdul Jalilu Ateku or your lecturer Department of Political Science me no ka say owo English bruchiri menmu ono ni embakasa awakasa wo zoom yo efe miwura Bernard Oduro Techi ono nso oye chartered economist and National Youth Working Committee member of the NDC inti ono oyobia omansika nkonta ne nhyehyɛ wabi mu pa no beboa yen esane sɛ osanso ye NDC ni nti wo sɛ wo woje no konfo enu nti yebetie no afei nia odiso ye miwura Frederick Kofi Ameyaw na miwura yi oye head of information permanent mission of Ghana in the United Nations oyobia wabɔ no ho modin ye na wakwachi na owo United Nations miwura akwaba
yeja
say de mpaninga trase na mpaninga trase ye kɔ ye nkomo so ye nkomo no ye bien ne ye bedikan ahwɛ ofane edikan na efiwa ya kɔ na etutu ye bien na edikan ye 2024 NDC Manifesto, a better solution to our problems. So we should NDC Manifesto what the abeto abonting ya so ababwa ebesi uyan ha unyina anu ana eye question a mesere se enam adwinum ye de nkomo ikoso so ababwa eye biribi papa bi ababwa ana yewu biribi papa bi bepu afi Jerusalem eye NDC wa na wo men amanyosoma ewo men mu ene o man hyehye ne no ho nsem nyina no so NDC Manifesto yi ababwa ana question to so bi what's a food crisis in Ghana, self-inflicted or act of nature? Osi wosha ncheye na asoya wohwe kuyadwuma ani nuan so no babonten ba kire yin se okomasi na nititiriu eye serim yiwo esane se osuato wonyansu eniema bebre kutia eninti okomasi ho na bangden hyehyɛ pagu akwan aponso se wore hyehyɛ ahyehyɛ niye so wo behwe na so hawi wo besi wa no na eno ho nkomo ne e ba bedi se wo hwe saa okoma esi wo serim so eye yanga ne yanga ye ana se eye obade na ye mekira eno na o se self inflicted so yanga ne yanga ya ana se act of nature ana se esa no tse no nyankopon bo wiase etore bia wiase sakra so nsakra ekoso wo wiase ebi na akan ana so eye nu ana ananso se eye ne aye sankomo yi na ne yebedi na yarense ebre kora yekọ hamano so eye zoom na yene yenwura Bernard Oduro akasa yewu mi Oduro wotemenka kamenwam na mu se wo mframanum yewu mi Oduro enche obeba na yere twen se ono baba ase na oba na wa baba join Dr. Ansakwe akwa ba bi o filate mi je di so bi ahun ye wolate wodo wonda ice mu wo ho yo NDC the one manifesto abeto abonten a manifesto no won atuni din o say resetting Ghana jobs accountability prosperity omeni wo say wo hwe won sem na won atintim a wo som so ya o so omeni ne majagu ndi ete se wo dangani so ne awode ato ho se won botae esi won ani so no se wo be dang ne mani wo be ye niye ama nwuma ba nkuntabu aba ena ye hu atoyen so won sa akasa awunyina so bi
me da say o ma me kwan say me kan bi senya wasi aka no wabo modern say yenwura NDC ni Dr. Bernard Oduro yenwura Bernard Oduro be kasa na wa kire nia was one manifesto no mu yi but senya wasi aka no one team one topic here resetting Ghana jobs accountability and responsibility. Many person may call enumu akasama wo because when I was a kind of I saw on our chair one 7 years. And my person may can be from manifesto home.
No.
Manifesto home generally.
Yo, miracle.
So I said I'm about what questions I said why didn't normally no no quarry of honor says, sir, a man yourself my head for party soon. You see fear brought for her. Inti nyebe odoma sebe yinsia men di mu ye enti ma nyebe to sika kra wa ha na abrofo no se na we si ye no fire no anka eba elections anase we elections bia won contesting no obi ade ni manifesto beba manifesto no ye simply nia ntia opetumi ena nia odi tumi no beye eno ni manifesto no ni enti afatumi mami ni enti a ye nyina yete ho na mede munyi mi se ohene ni enti a wonyi mi se ohene na menya post no nso menya sa tumi no nso a nya mede sa tumi no beye eno na ofre no manifesto no na abrofo mu no wafa no serious pa if you say sasma obeka no I say when you oman aye contract must sign a contract say eba say when you man sign a contract say eba say we din kunima nya o kan no say we di so when this year breath for bar what the barrier was say o your trofo won kan no kware won fa o say yo o kakeke won ye enti sade no won fa no serious pa wa brofo ho no kware da ho ne say ye fi sa amanyo elections ye ache 50 hodmun na ye elections party bahanum 47 48 49 and UGCC and FM and 47 and na CPP 49 eba ya che ten bia wo the manifesto ba no kware wo mu ne say esane niema binti ye fa manifesto no serious sanya efata
dan niema nti na ye fa manifesto serious
ba ko ne say sebi ye mu pi ni makenkan intino manifesto no normally no ewa kakra wo chirel because what say nia obeye and say so human man of fa ye mu pi ni makenkan ye de brofo ye nkrom kasa madaro na sadina na sesa ye de brofo ye kasa obi aka nti wonte brofo a na won yi wa film na eni ye baako near to say being say a man for to aba one time share su manifesto no ho asa na wan to wan ba the be ache bra you fear say Fourth Republic you fear say Rollins bear you say fear say where elections say political science department will gone we feel no year research be near eba intia Rollins first election so winning now research our year you know we say the people to aba for reasons and manifesto ho before Rollins time no men can be far before Rollins time for crampo no party be ba hanum na one ejina yen sroma nya waka okrom no say to man sroma finyame na pa chere say saka to aba won nya nipa no be yama oman no nti ene wonti enso na what the kind say to mo sroma finyame and say yes man can say tasum kra so for the party for so by toma abe if you say abe ho won fa so I want to abe be anche e na what the year we nkofo na hwe manifesto kra na symbol kaka wo final na what the year juma enti nyame pa kira na say yen memu no yen tan fa manifesto serious e sane nyama horo yinti enti nya e ho hia say ejina shade bi say symbol na we no and you for no more serious and as a din kra where we but abrofo mu no manifesto hu hia pa because a contract a won ya man for a year so moto ma na ma tumi na ya me de tumi ne be yini nye to say bien so say ni papi anya tumi wo man mu after elections one be the man so but what buy no won ya tumi no enya nya what kind say wo be ye no e na wo ye Yes, my manifesto dan chenkra. Na we no so dan chenkra. Papa oboni and yen ye manifesto mu na wo ye. And nti am yen fa manifesto serious. Nti se be ye elections a parties na the manifesto ba. Now yen sure say manifesto wan produce no. Won nyina na wo tena ase a wan dwe hu yiye. And na two se wo wunyi pa wo be this year and yet to clear.
Yo, sir, I'm so what's a Malcan at Asumupa, watch chire mu na yenhwe wo songs ya near NDC manifesto a won achiroi hifa na wugye di se e ka kasa bi a wonimu se wo betuma ana wontumenye yo
menye pa kan NDC ni bi kasa krasa na kasa fa
wo de kasa
obeba but na mom no men kan we nyawan kan de etasum
yo
Ejuma ye jobs resetting Ghana what's it what percent Ghana no yes ye hihye na ye pe juma na ye pe juma jobs accountability wundi to me kwa to me bia obedi no obebu hu akonta accountability and I feel so responsibility we are responsible bia ye nye so ye asem bia ni ho me kwanso ya ni se wo hwe we yiye na wo tie NPP for den so ya and also etasum
yo
enti manifesto de enchirehwe obi akanya asese oka na say entam ka say nyehia ne say amanfo fa we serious na one kasa are they serious with what they are saying will they implement it enti etasum na enyechi no another question
so what's him na NDC ne no wo hamaso na onkasa na mfide yehu na akwan mi rodro ye ma wache de wo ba adwumadi so ye mangana wotemenka pro menwa na mehu se wo ho
Dog, very good morning. I'm Pacho. I'm also what to say.
We are here. Onyame ne hene. Ya boni tawtawu. You. Ene den na wotwe atwa mu na ejabo ejane bai. Mo pa mo manifesto ho ntama ama ne NDC manifesto abeto abonten. Mo tintim mo ngoma no. Ne amudi ginan eye mo kasa ne gina so pa ne se o se more reset the economy or the country and for a better jobs and all that. Muna mo kan sa aka say mame enhwe mefri no na o say resetting Ghana. Jobs, accountability and prosperity. Ni amuken munya wehe na den na kan mokoma na mokan ne se se na nanse nkofu hu anisu mu hu manisu ana motem asum miura sere yimbibi ni ntie
Dr. Dedika and Mamencha, my colleague panelist. Mamencha Dr. Ansakwe, Namencha Dr. Jalilu Atiku, Namencha Minia Frederick Kofi Amel. Now, straight to the point, said there, Dr. Ansakwe Ekayeno, all over the world, and political party be a petumia, and was on in a month for going to social contracts. So basically, Manifesto is a social contract between the governed and the government. In as much as I will call the court system, no, contract are enforceable, no, and a breach of a contract result in a remedy. About political party organizations are social contracts. Basically, people may not be bold enough say sorry because political parties be for certain provision in the manifesto. But the remedy at Memufo ne crow money say or manifesto on consistent basis. There's a standard deviation between promise and with delivery. Then the citizenry on every election day will choose to either retain you or get you out of power. Dog, what we say a very important question, sir. Your manifesto edit 2 during the 24th of August, you know, a prophetic mission, and that was based on scientific research. And now me follow my statistical model now project, you know. Now before I zoom into straightforward to your question, no, my mencha your party in pen info now from your flag bearer, your running mate, and the party rank and file. Proud to say you call launch the main manifesto. No, don't forget to say. On the 12th of August, you launched the Youth Manifesto. Ghana, because among all the political divide, no, in the current dispensation, no, the launching of the Youth Manifesto, a title, no, the pledge, you know, was also some kind of a novelty because all opinion pulls from Economic Intelligence Unit, Alpha Barometer, Fixed Solutions, Standard & Poor, Moody, Global Info Analysis, Ghana, no. Indicating say afia ba ye koto no enema miensa and the best serve as a trigger nyema kese pa miensa basically the economy, jobs and education and partly unemployment as part into economy, jobs / unemployment, any education. Sa nyema miensa we so fundamentally no nipa affect you in every economy, whether at the micro level or the macro level, no, the youth, no. And statistically, Global Info Analytics editor just said, Afiaba yebeto no, between the ages of 18 and 44, 77% of the voting population. And to say 18 million ebeto about 77% of that voting population are youthful. And to what informed the NDC thinking, they said, if 77% of the entire voter registered ebeto abano, then we needed a specific manifesto that will speak to the heart of the youth. And it's also more. In the Youth Manifesto, we touch on employment by 24-hour economy, we touch on apprenticeship program, we touch on for tertiary education, talking about scholarship for person with disability, free admission for first-year student in the all university, whether it's a technical or the mainstream university. After go into technology entrepreneurship, we sought to have a specific tailor-made policy for the young people. And by 24th August, and they launched the main manifesto, they call the political battle for election 2024. In that manifesto, they launched, you know, the theme was basically said, resetting Ghana, and now you focus on jobs, accountability, and prosperity. And babies are said, why do we reset Ghana? Because Obi said, baby, or before Ghana, no, why the need for reset? Now, dog, I brought now with statistical analysis regarding Domeko Brinyani Medina. No, who the two just say election biano, a dear Dimwa Cotton, Pie and Yemen, you know. One, the national influencing factor. Ade a affecting money and with specific focus no benching on the economy. Your dada si kasema setna, your boy your purchasing power parity, your income level, your standard of living, your cost of living, exchange rate, policy rate, international reserve of the government. So put two money together, it constitute two macro factor at the national level. Dog was also see from Kase beyond the national influencing factor, no, I was so share constituency specific factors. And you for baby to say Dominic Quabrinia, which near man na ye kasa no, se kobasa ye kwa koto abana nyankopo amana bibia ansesa na ye NDC for ye nyema ya Dominic Quabrinia no parliamentary no ye betmanya 50.04%, ye nuano MPP for benya 48.95, and oba Medina constituency. Oka se enyema sana NDC ye nyema ye na bibia ansesa, we can garner 69.3%. Whilst MPP at 30.01%. Now, wait, say, Afia ba ye kwa kotono, nipa dada si kasema sitna, influencing factor. And dada sitna mun semo a dog ye kaino. And also ye krabata mino. Ye shano the micro level. At the micro level, no, ye fano individual household and fed. And it's a often nipa nkra. Odin satu ni boto mu a dog den su ni kosie. So, or the Saturn bottom and Sako Biswa, and any betna casan standard of living a coyipa. Baldo, so the Saturn bottom and sense so there, and any about the cassette, the cost of living no air affecting negatively. On the other hand, Senipaye, Jumana, Onyesi Katun Botomwa, and no Buama income level, Ecosro, in we are talking about the FNO, PPP, which is the purchasing power parity of the individual. So we individual is in change now about household. The case a household that it said the work busu ko ano ko into ko abusu bi ma abusu no ye die te sen a ye to o ma sen no mo ko no obi ko school no hiam wa sen abusu no betimi aboa no o wie no ado na we escalate ko the firm at the firm level no o hwe se industries companies running almost factors of production, the fixed ones and the variable ones, you know, what is the outer, what is the impact on them, and also escalate to the national level. Don't put two Niyama way together. NDC, ye war a specific committee be a friend of the lab. The lab for the past 2 years, no. Yen Flabber, His Excellency John Roman, former President Mahama, born toa, Ghana, bisa Ghana for you now say. An improved version of election 2020 manifesto in the People's Manifesto. And the manifesto number 1 was based on the various the course and I'm informing the manifesto to August 24.
Niana wokano to aso wo ne nko yo na afire no haw no ye beba miwura
dog
ko anim yo say mebe studio na Dr. Ansakwe na uguso kire wadwene yo mpacho me yento nka ne awoka no tuaso
hello
Sani NDC no sa akasasa
do mpacho temenka
asemba konye enforcement ne wakane de asembia ni ho wakane na nokware na mum nokware wo mu se wonye NDC ni na wonye MPP ni
yo mpacho miwura naba owura tachi mpacho yeto nka
dog but I say fashion network na Ghana your internet connectivity across everywhere in Timon fan cheme
Bajo kasa yeritie o
Hello. Good. Thank you very much. Those are sharing your manifesto no more. You are crystallizing into two forms. You were the Ghana we left for the MPP because anytime Biana opens a postulate who go into that channel, you only build a legacy on the past. And Ghana Ben and NDC Bayana was so from 2009 to 2017 January no edija ye nuanom MPP for na eye Ghana obi a pensioner ni sika yamfa paso antum eye Ghana ansida se bond aye ton domestic money market and the capital market bond market no amada se Ghana ko negotiate obi bia o ye bond holder no ye pese bia paso tu otum eye Ghana for the very first time no ye jade e frɛ no economic buffers or financial cushions. And financial cushions may be a den. Abra NDC are buying free so no. Financially, yeja give Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, yeja Essen Bank, yeja ESLA, yeja Heritage Fund, yeja Sinking Fund. Obi baby say, Sanyama way in NDC are buying no. What was the concomitant economic effect on the next government? A woman a buy no buy yeja scorecard papa. Eye Ghana abra na NDC ja akonya na kono na ukura 392 pesos na utimi to $1 eye Ghana na Ghana ka na ye die no se wo de ye ka ni nyina compare your gross domestic product memfa na se Angeltv eye oman a Angeltv ton ho agapade nyina no de compare ne ka o de a nti ye gross domestic product na se wo de ye ka compare no a na ye nru even 72%. Nti when ye Ghana Yedija Yaman, na Ghana so a lot of state-owned enterprise, a lot of parastatals, they were making profit. When ye Ghana, NDC are buying, ye nya kukodro se ya to aba ye din kuko, enti ye nuanom MPP for minor akanyi bejena mon rane. And na ye kai no. Minor ye hand over dija ye nuanom
mujao what MPP so mujao MPP for how na.
Precisely. Dog obi bia mi aka se o rane mine o rane no eye thing because about financial economy every economy or government is run on government and so your balance sheet bia na your asset your liability and said there balance sheet e contain asset and liability no there were certain debt so ametimi aka se ye dija mine no dog eno na masi ni pia ka kire wo se abra ye be fra akonya so no now the debt to GDP the rebase the economy now it was roughly around 56 to 60%. When a year car yan sumeti nyaka se ye dija amai no it yes ya live the country bra ya nyaka but so the year car ye dia no compared to the debt sustainability analysis of the MPP abai no a balloon year in 2022 to 104%. And abra na ye NDC you hover around 56-60% no. Yenuanom MPP for balloon here at the almost 104%. And no can be and ma IMF at the two Ghana
corruption. Mudi bibi ja wo ana ana momo ba the more record ye clean.
Precise on grounds of honesty. Maminka o kasa video Angeltv now no say no government in the world betina kasa be run abanya corruption be zero and to mean see. And not just corruption being zero, but the ability and the commitment to fight corruption. Obekanokra, under the Fourth Republic, the only political party are under him, under his watch, party appointee, ye prosecute you no nya jail term, John Dramani Mahama, yeni apani Abuga Peli. And I can throw the challenge to yeni MPP for say, omo anka so mo party member baako, incontrovertible evidence. Ebi adanse say, where a corruption infested deal e bin see that and yes NDC atwa mu no e ba corruption a
say network no Dr. Nsakwe
NDC
say wait
towards fighting
na wo hu baby afa yo owura na san ba yo miwura waba tuaso na ye monitor na fe mpanimfu a wa hanso mrem yo
Yeah, lawyer, dog, go beside me question, sir. And near my bit is corruption, so ye the big jaya na, and I'm a mercy supia, sir, and now say human institution, ye nipa, na sabi enyen nientino. These things are bound to happen. But on comparative basis, so far the political will, the commitment of the NDC, then in fighting corruption, Obiabedi Adanse said,
Monso, a honso na a haumo. Na yensa yenhwe bibi foforo baby the corruption wakan has to me we are not to nchanga yense bibia ye kasa wo size of government na mo de net den asuane
good under the Fourth Republic obibi obey very honest point of political bigotry no be kind of cry His Excellency Akufo-Addo of my way na metimi aka se eba se yempa onipa dodo mfa rane man in fact, we're running an elephant-sized government. And not only that, dog, you're afraid to be OGM, which is Office of Government Machinery. And the Office of Government Machinery, regional coordinating offices, national security, so putting in together a constitute Office of Government Machinery under the Fourth Republic on consistent basis. Make me for maybe to say Nigeria, US, China, etc. So for the population of Ghana, the size of GDP relative to Sikeko OGM, Ghana, Echa Egypt, Echa Morocco, Echa Nigeria, Echa South Africa, Echa Kenya. Which I will say the size of the government, NDC had the minimal size of government. What they are not on China. Budget and OGM, no, we were far, far, far better and lean and moderate in that approach. Thank you, Doc.
You, Dr. Zakwe, wachire say NDC, wabo humodi na edu baby nso wo haw ene ho niama. Wo hwe NDC won manifesto na wachire so to say wo hwe nnwuma wo bebu nnwuma ma mmabun ne ho niama sa nkomon wu ne den
no make us say papa no wakasa pa say NDC ni wakasa yi pa say me kan NDC mpanyefo hu a anka me ba na baso wakasa ya
adentia
wakasa ya ama party no na mum no Ghana no esosin NDC
yo
sa na say party fu fini pa so ba obekasa enti me mepese mekasa say ordinary Ghanaian Ghanaian only NDC only MP
yo Miura Kasasa.
Makasa say na Emma nipe PNJ akrache for na party politics na politicians in no. Because nyoka ni na no ebia sanya ni si makasa no akasa pe no. Na mom no politics no enye economy pe.
Yo.
When ni me pe one man say you can me can say you're wrong because me nkasa ma MPP. One so why ni me peer to sing.
Yo.
MPP so ni me peer to sing. And until I seen say Ghana ni ordinary Ghanaian no on G two mu BND. Until you PI one journey say when you our basa akwesi basa akwabra basa until you obenya fimu pe and obi adwen ho eno embo man no. Esa me say manifesto yene de enkyere hwe. You need to no say ye betumi I enforce ana
yo
na no die no tumu
doc
unfortunately yanku enforce
yo so
Okasa as a party activist because one thing is very good resetting Ghana jobs accountability and prosperity near MPP before so can say ye here resetting Ghana and yere ko yen achi na mom yen ko forward na yen way na won nyina no won fa focus ma ordinary Ghanaian no
yo
two nya when na waka no paper so no e look fine but then and yeah implementable
yo
what papa wan ya we no nyina
yo Miura so mna owura ameyaw Miura watena se ache fachem ebize minimum say wo ba wo zo bebu ewu page wo ho Miura ma to opon na didi ne yenko
opani we dey medawase na machia wahwefo ne wetiefo nyina
yo
na mafa ofidi susu achia party Frankatuni outside the leader of the party Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Nyamima na hoden ene the Obone Chidom Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe. Na party mpenifo nyina. Na menchia mpenifo ene ni omudin komo.
Miwura me yaw. Ubesom na mensa ntimu metiefo se miwura me yaw ka se ogina homa MPP. Inti ono nso bekasa ma MPP. Inti miwura to ya wasam so.
Medasi, I think that the issue of manifesto, no, no cray, a young pain bebre, no, yen shedan fa ya dream cohort sa. But I think that the dynamics, no, as Sakakra, in recent times, people are paying attention to the manifesto, and ABI in the years past, no, and another for shedan for more adream koswa, and nyom do adream koswa. In fact, per our constitution, no. Every president must submit its social and economic coordinated programs to Parliament for every 2 years. And it emanates from the directive principles of state policy, I think Article 34, it is a social and economic coordinated program. It comes from the manifesto. And your manifesto, no, and I bet you now they are called to Parliament, say, for the 4 years I Ghana for their mameno. We need their mayor. So manifesto is an important document. Unfortunately, we didn't pay attention, but now we are paying attention to it. Because we share common air coso na saying, we realize say Ghanaians are reminding the MPP what they did or what they promised they would do or maya or munye. Now, when it comes to fulfillment of the manifesto, as far as its implementation, I think that the new patriotic party, the government of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, they have been extremely transparent and honest with the good people of this country. Because the year 2020, we might recall, say I think the Oko Alliance Française, where you were auditorium B1 chain, I think it's Arts and something auditorium, and one chain was airport area more. He was there and accounted to the people, the good people of this country. The MPP are buying a year as far as your promise now, your promise here in our manifesto, and what we have been able to do. Some over kaya and or itemizing your my any the that is why MPP can say about over 80% of our manifesto promises in 2016 you're implemented. And he doubled down on this no kwesiada or press engagement. So when it comes to fulfillment and implementation of your manifesto, the records are that at least more than 80% of our manifesto promises. And only the NDC has never been able to do. I was hoping and say maybe at the civil society and Penifua woman can be beside John Dramani Mahama. Say your man wa kwenya say obey your man penny o share about 2012 and your man obey your man penny 2013. And then na ultimi year as far as your manifesto is concerned.
Oh, me jedi say san common day abato na year 2016 abato it was an common. And then Ghana for they assess and say miura quarter synergy one home. And here on one hand. On the other they say at the end of the day that determination will be I'll get there. But I'm talking about say where we now what's our basi and Tony Swabano. We need to ask that question. But you made a fantastic point and it dovetails into what I will say moving forward. Now let's come back to the issues of NDC manifesto. To be frank, Openi Kasandog now can be say emuye. I don't think that this is the most weakest and poorest manifesto this country has ever witnessed. But a manifesto that is promising 24-hour economy in disco, nightclubs, is that a manifesto that we need to accept? Oh. Okay, disco.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Maybe I'm about the statement or more launch the manifesto. In the 24-hour economy, I see disco, any nightclubs, bear 24 hours. Is that a manifesto that we need to accept in this country? No, I don't think so. I don't really think so.
I don't know why.
Now, what's our manifesto? Dog, the clear woman say the manifesto, and I will give you about bear 10 of them. I must say a boss of Mubeba Ghana for MPP are buying air already. Dear Deacon, almost say a boss says or mobile. Oko resetting Ghana no. Yeah. Point 17. Also implement Moniyo, a unique pension scheme for informal sector workers such as commercial drivers, commercial motor cyclists, Okada, small-scale miners, farmers, fishermen, etc. This is a policy that is already being implemented by SNITS. Omo implemented about 2 years ago. Omo friend is SEED, Self-Employed Enrollment Drive. That is number 1. Opening number 2, about job creation. I'm saying the National Job Creation Initiative, point 3, National Apprenticeship Program. The National Apprenticeship Program is a policy to generate self-employment by providing free technical and vocational training for young people in various crafts. Trained apprentices will be issued with appropriate certification and supported with startup capital and equipment to set up their businesses. Just about 3 days ago, Ewo Techiman, the Nanado Baumia government under Youth Employment Agency, a training 10,000 youth of Ghana. Ebimu ye hairdressers, ebimu ye plumbers, ebimu ye painters, ebimu ye POP. All of them were given certification by ATVET.
Inti mamizao.
Me fancy o. Ye we any some more startup equipment. Some fan kodi o mujuma minim say bia Angeltv me ko kovaya. E what Techiman. Last I think Tuesday or so. So even in their manifesto, the things that they are promising, no, the MPP is already implementing them.
You, Mira, Yanshane say, near what canon say, near Abengi yen, and this will be a baby. Sana organic. You, and near Emma, a good near Dennis say, Ubi to my year, Bubiba be shimoding. Ubi crowd your pang for Baba, into win yen say, near NDC for Kane, Warban Wabaya. So what to Abama no be ya ebe woman and as say MPP for starting D and this will be added so na wa dwene kire wana Mura
Senka MPP ya manyuku anko onsam ba say entone so aba you could have said that. The New Patriotic Party is contesting in these elections. Okay? So policies are ya implement here dada no. Adentina aban no all year no. Yen to sa aban no ntonkone. Why? The things that you promised that you will do is already being done. No, there's a policy in place that is being implemented by a government, and that government is coming back as a party to be voted for.
Bramo power, Mumbabe Gitumen, Muse corruption, Mubeshe, Mubetias, Mubeyahu, and mobile corruption. Modia ko enimu sen won edinti o kese oba obetu keta asese no pro asia why bone an onye bone anani o kan nte so kan
come me flow yan ka mo say about
flow
you are the host can may itemize about 15 of their promises that are being implemented, and my point would have been that at the end now say Yema NDC back. More especially John Dramani Mahama, when the things that they have promised to do are being done by the MPP. That's the question. Where here, as I said, I'm Toma Ghana for. I'm so about 3 SHS on being here. 3 SHS no being so on Jim Dino. It couldn't have been done in the next 20 years. And that is the whimsical promise of a desperate politician, according to John Dramani Mahama. And that Oman Penin and call 2 billion and can invest it into free SHS. That same person is promising in his manifesto. So about free SHS. When a government has implemented that policy for 8 good years, and the Sabani the challenge is what free SHS only don't mean ends of it. That's the point I'm making. So why should Ghanaians have GDA in him? He mentioned Techi mentioned say Omuye Youth Manifesto, the pledge, and that they are committed to creating job for the youth in this country. Is that what he said? Sesano kan dia Ghana for mun tie ni ye se nyen dada oman panin dada John Dramani Mahama wa ye oman panin da emra na oye oman panin no Ghana mebunu ka se omunye adwuma nye okatre Ghana mebunu se onye magician to provide them with jobs. He's not a magician to provide them with jobs. Majority of our youth, omo call nursing schools, teacher training schools, no. They are youth, and they. Allowance is a name so massive kakra mu cost ko amtimi e dey hwehwe mo half an. Otwamu. He cancelled them. And now he's coming to tell us, say, well, pledges say, we're supporting the youth. And you rather than some, and you know, he can be trusted. Open what I say. A bio free SHS and Keba, a bio Mabun and Keba Bomo. Open Dr. Casano, Sisabi, Nima can come or my women, your doors, and pay attention to the manifesto. That is true. But there was an individual, there was a political party, there was a government who vowed and committed, say, Obema Ghana, Bebunu Bia, Kontuaso School, as he Kasemu Nya Kwensidie. I'm talking about His Excellency Nana Danko Ekufado and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. NDC for Kachina, yes, sir. And the principal person, or yes, Adiania John Dramani Mahama, sponsored adverts against free SHS. And says free SHS cannot be done in this country. And that AF 419, it cannot be implemented in the life of this country. And this policy was targeted for the youth of this country. Nana Danko Ekufado Baye, for his first term, his first year, September, our West African secondary school, he implemented that policy, targeted for the youth. Now we have an individual coming to tell us, say, on the Oba, he's for the youth. That cannot be the case. On Kanche Temoyo Man Penino, how many jobs he created for the youth? He should give us the numbers. You can't just say, may provide the jobs. Give us the numbers. How many jobs did you create for the youth? Then we can have a faith and believe in you, say, you have the credibility to do that. We have created over 2 million jobs. Majority of them are for the youth of this country. So what is he talking about? He has been a president before. So, but he can't abide any man penny. Sabi emebunu nani ku omo ho na wa ye omo wa ba omo mwa Nana Danko Ekufado ni Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and the MPP administration across board from John Ajekum Kufuor. We implemented the National Youth Employment Program, NYEP, for the first time, targeted for the youth of this country. Yenya nurses for Yenya Kufuor nurses, Kufuor teachers, Yenya Ninawum. It was implemented by MPP administration. And then we know, say, there was National Innovation and Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NUIP. Yenya mamno mebunu amu free sebi srem eba the south in Kumasi sebi omo so de efre mu kaya yofo. Me kan obuo mu ne ani die mu a sebi mani nse obia me kan wa brase me na gu me sada me sayem na me na gu fom. Sebi your man pani dada John Dramani Mahama no free srem. Majority of these young people come from where he hails from, to the south. Ombo no omo so a pan so omo fan enyo omo kaya yo no. So pan ye kan otwi mu say.
Kanje.
Eno di mo omo so omo fan nye omo adwuma. Today we are talking about a government and individuals say we want building a institution to train them to move away from kaya yo. So even in your constituency here meboa.
So what say mun na me misao nsoma bieng e say waka nsoma ne bebre. Nea wo pa kire ne say Ura Mahama ne niama ba won ahye wo manifesto no mu ne nea won ntuma nye bra wo wa aben mun enu nti ense emfata sebe se ne kuro nya kokuduru se oba be petumi em se wo kasa ne nen.
Yes.
Na mamimisa wo yete Ura Baumia o se workers are crying. What is akasa no? And they etwa ne ntwae. First, I'm going to question not to. Also, when the fundamentals are weak, no exchange rate, no expose you. Are we out of the woods yet? A fee, also, Baba shed dollar seed in Mama Muya ding. So, time no refier Kumwason, M's CD to dollar a 1 to 4. And yes, and nay, your heifer, me says Uncle Mono, occupy wagene. A fee, what a can, so Ramahama. Onchire nyuma wo creative se muma creative 2.3 million or so you na munso niam creating ahene aka nipa ahene woni nyuma na efe wo hwe MPP manifesto mo de ade bi bai mo say the aging act won a won anyin mo de ye mere bi aba bua won ICC won asetenam wo hwe mo manifesto na saade no the aging act ene niema won anyim bababua na so wo babu obi a ade na woman haircut me wura manu ato
me dan see me call program I hosted bisa best questions at the time
so wo de wo ma me list nje me ma wona afi yakọ yanim ndi na me se kire oto wo
the edi kan
ebia me mo bo na ye
no me macho ni nyina wa me kai pa again we are looking at the next performance of the two political parties in this country. The New Patriotic Party, yenka say ye boa ye she ye nyina ye di ni nyina so. And mami jintum prekope say the economy is not in a good state. What I say? Ye jitum say okay the budget statement read in.
Ndi ade ntina say mo ba. Ghana for man pound mo ba.
Yeah, patrol. I need him a man son. O she budget statement ye kan in 2021 for 2022 paragraph 20. O man penin and adu danko ekufa o jitum prekope. Ghana for him. He even mentioned that Ghanaians are suffering. And these are the things that keep him awake at night. What I say? And then number one. Number two. Oman Penida that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 2022 in April 7th, Pentecost auditorium baby. He accepted, say without a cause, Ghanaians are going through a lot. Ghanaians are suffering. Just in recent time, the finance minister apologize for what is going on in the DDEP. So we accept said there are challenges and that Ghanaians are suffering. Now no question that means press engagement. A journalist asked the question, said some time ago, we question that you told us that nurses are suffering, carriers are suffering, are suffering. Today, what is the case? And the vice president and the flag bearer and leader of the New Patriotic Party accepted that yes, it's true that even now Ghanaians are suffering. But even when Ghanaians are suffering, look at the interventions that we put in place. You can't discount that. In the midst of all our sufferings, public and civil workers are still being paid. In the midst of all our sufferings, your light is so. In the midst of all our sufferings. In the midst of all our sufferings, allowances, yedima teacher for, nurse for, omuko training school, yedima. In the midst of all our sufferings, sabi ye nuanu munkuma ene ye mamo e konto aso school e free for 8 good years. In the midst of all our sufferings, in the midst of all our sufferings, ya triple and quadruple leap support ye de ma sabi empanifo ane ihiafo ne mobrawa. We have done that in the midst of all our sufferings. Even in the midst of all our sufferings, the cushion that we have given to the now you say what ya free be go opportunity go. Growth opportunities are devoting 8 billion to the SMEs in Ghana. As we talk now, 90% of all businesses are SMEs in Ghana. 70% of them are contributing to gross domestic products. 82% of all manufacturing companies are SMEs. Yamomu 8 billion. In the midst of all our sufferings, these are the things that we are doing. And now, again, on the exchange rate. Now, no, now, Obua Nana Danko Akufo-Addo amane 2 francs. Like I say, if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. At that time, not for 3 consecutive years, the budget deficit was in double digits. Inflation was about 15%. Now we show your foreign reserves are not swatting. Now we were struggling. Doomso was costing us $2 million every single day to businesses, according to Institute of Statistical and Social Economic Research. So the fundamentals were weak. Until 2014, the cedi was the weakest currency in the world. In fact, a weaker for 40%. Now, when you come back and you look at today, the fundamentals are not strong. They are weak today. Inflation is about 20%. Debt to GDP is over 80%. And why are the fundamentals weak? It's because of what the world experienced. A global pandemic that had a cascading effect and impact on the economy. The economy, as it were, the fundamentals of the world's economy are not as strong as they used to be. And that's a fact. So yes, the fundamentals are weak now because of a hit, something that struck the nation. And that is why 27th of March 2020, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, made a profound statement. Or since or share any reporter on your free Bank of Ghana. Southam na your GDP was about 6-7%. Now it reduced about 2.5%, 2.25%. Then he said, "Sir, from the analysis now and looking at the trend of things, say COVID no annual that was March 2020, at the height of the COVID, the economy will die, and if the economy dies, we know how to bring back the economy to life. But what we do not know is to bring back life. We've lost." This was a profound statement. That was even at the time when the GDP was 2.25%. GDP by 0.14% because of the COVID. So, and then fundamentals need a weakness, exchange rate, exposure. It's true then, and it's true now. But the truth of the matter is, and the good news is that we are coming out of. And you said it, you alluded to it today. See, FFL, that was your word. What I said. So that tells you, say, we had John Dramani Mahama as a caretaker president when Ghana had not suffered any global crisis, not even regional crisis, not even domestic crisis. When he took over from Omampenia, Nyamefani Krensi, John Evans Atamos, this economy, that economy then, Doomson and Kahumbi. At the time he took that office, he took us to Doomson number 1. Number 2, just so you know, his first State of the Nations address in 2013, okay, that statement made by him, just because of the wage bill. John Dramani Mahama told Ghanaians, say, "On to me boom money because of the size of the wage bill." And for that matter, and this is an individual with that crisis who couldn't manage the economy. And now that we are in global crisis and we are going through challenges, you want us to bring him back for what?
Yeah, ni awo kani nyina no monso mu wosinto.
Menka se ni sinto.
NDC nso wosinto.
But so okay ye mienu
na wo reka se ni awoye a won antuma nyenti ente so wo mo ba. Monso monsem ni bi ni gu abonten. Mabun dodo anso na monten ujedi.
Of course I understand that.
The Aging Act amuso mo bebo won anyin mpanimfo ho ban na boa won. Mama won haircut ma Chief Justice no wo picket wo Finance Ministry. Eno ya asempa ntia mama mra.
Dabi enya asempa. In fact, before
ma menchi wadwene nkwa de ba ko bio so ma asem no ukan uso mo de mafiase na moye no ho niema excuse di obi abeti mama
excuse for what?
COVID no ho niema.
COVID is not an excuse. With the greatest of respect, COVID is not an excuse. Dabi pese ohono yenjina ho Dabi
COVID
dog yenjina COVID is not an excuse dog.
You know COVID no enya monkwa na kam
Dabi COVID is not an excuse. So COVID is not an excuse.
Dabi
no and the mean
jintu mama nso menkasa bie ukasa no mema ho kwan
COVID is not an excuse.
COVID if some mukasa na Russian Ukraine war COVID ene ho niam pese me kirewo ne se enya Ghana nkwa ena saa ohawi ebese nwonkom
nokre
iyo nti adenti na eno de yentie se eno de ehaw mo enu nti mo de wonto abamam na obi de wenyo ohaw bia mo enyo ohaw iyo mede masem ni wie mo enyo ohaw no issue of corruption eye den na mo matra NDC for Transparency International report that
first of all
iyo
for I don't think it's fair for you to say COVID is an excuse. It's not.
You see, na mekan ebia. What can say we? Debi, na mekan one asem na mekan na say, magina so. E de kasa.
Magina so is the reality.
Yes. Say no ugina so ya. Eno nkire say nea wo kan no. Say what you say enya no.
So I no cry say COVID had an impact.
E wo ho na me so wunim say enya Ghana nkwa na COVID.
So the point is that they haven't felt the impact of COVID.
Na wo hwe wo de toto ho a ebi mu so abo modern in Ghana na no se ba den ebi abo modern in Ghana.
Give me an example of a country. Give me an example.
COVID.
They are okay now. Give me an example.
And yes we are okay. Na me say won abo wo ho modern in Ghana.
And I'm saying give me a country.
You share francophone. Wo hwe won figures. You
the Edika number 1. Francophone, that would mean like Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
Take Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. At the time now COVID by their financial crisis no, and now more financial sector no, then crash here. Okay, their financial sector had not crashed at the time when COVID had come. At the time now COVID by no, they were not paying excess capacities, take or pay. Almost every year we were paying $1 billion.
Juba doesn't know anyhow.
Or how? And then their currency is anchored on the euro in France. And that is fundamental. That is key. I don't know why do we discount that? Said so again, I have brand with our currency because you quantum crow. I know there are a group of 8 countries that have come together almost spending a year safer. And that safer no munina so France. Euro. So how do you compare such an economy to Ghana's economy?
Corruption.
Yeah. Corruption. Also transparency.
Yeah.
A perception.
Oh, perception.
Now, wait. Perception. Because John Dramani's administration, under his administration, we've had Obia or Survey or
Mbacho, some na ayu wadam for na ba hamano so. Mr. Amiao, you, Mbacho Kasa. Mr. Drew, fetch him. Mr. Amiao, fetch him. Yo. Obebaso. Now what you yes, Mr. Drew. Mr. Amiao, Chow Kumato, Obebaso. No, Oberman, Obakasa. You.
Hello, dog. Hello.
Kasa.
Okay, the other kind of me boatie bi nua am on a submission no, but I am here say the summary of the submission is now an element of working contradiction.
You, Mr. Miao.
Or my key point to say His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama.
Corruption.
What they penny then
who say
it's a perception. And transparency according to the report.
Yeah.
It's not a perception no mujinasu no.
Ye jinasu ya na perception ye jinasu di buo manga na say perception dan
I'm not downplaying it. Neither am I discounting it. It's extremely important.
Okay.
What I say. But I'm saying that see we are going into an election and we are considering 2 political parties.
But you jinasu 1 minute. You Miura Brasona we are now Mr. Amia Atiaso. You Miura Bonito Mine. You. Mr. Odro Techi, I'm say yet to come.
Dog me tell can met me abem.
You Bremu.
Dog de kan matumi boatie mi nua amia kasa no nyina. But so kasa men summarizing the totality of the submission now. I will put it say mi nua amia and the political party in the government they are working contradiction. It's very simple. Obi say mi nua amia say and maybe 9 years ago, Mampen near Bedi Achila no 2 franc MPP, MK. So, a fundamental be a week, maybe a tremu. Now, your fat forced it to me to $1. Now, never catch them and said, me here 16 city to contradiction. Number 2, Miniamia Emeki assumption said about national apprenticeship programmer just 3 days ago. NDC making a policy direction so obey improve upon it. With a greater respect, dog, my main phone call Ghana your cons.
Ne hamana hawe nti ye be ko miura so mu na ye nko afiri no so ne Dr. Ateku Jalilu wo so ya me yento nka.
Hello. Good morning.
Yensa account na waba free so.
Yo, Doc,
NDC manifesto na. Mi je say o wa hwehwe niema wom. He fan na kan wokoma na wonimu say wo bituma ye. He fan so na wonimu say nia wakan keke. Baby a wo fi.
Yo, me da say senior.
Chira me niema bi make say baby a wo fi a. We political scientist. Chira me niema bi.
Yo, me fa wati fidi so na minchia wati fo nyina na minchia me boss Dr. Ansakwe ichi obia ne panelist na omo wo so and ya meka ne say last week discuss MPP manifesto na me can be say for me I'm looking at bibia ebetimi a kire say bia new thing ben na eba na me can say going through a mancha da hu ade a betumi aye 10 around is say cause me can say na me be pray wo mu a na e ade a ye did all the time. So this time following the conversation na ekoso one thing na make me can say NDC na MPP so mobile platform so I mean someone so eboa ema amanfo ehu bibia ye wo share MPP manifesto na share last week no a and one say oma penti certain dark for the NDC any omo economic affairs bia from omo perspective near omo ya omo boa was omo ye na chese bibi papa bia eni affairs NDC over the past na omo be inherit ye em say o tie NDC so a panel say was also present a similar thing em te yenu na free MPP no kwa be busa say e dan pa na NDC so I think that edu baby I was as a government, as a political party, so per se to about amount sincerity in governance. And no between Dr. Ansakwe dika ekabibi say manifesto we nyina echi omuye nyina no. Wankasa is not important to okasa very important and in the developed economies and developed world no idea omu gina so eto aba. But yeno akwaye say bia manifesto be tro no but during implementation I implement it so citizens do not see even the need for any political affairs, I say manifesto say so basically, I never said we are just scratching the surface. But I think we need to look at the facts because one, you share NDC, make me say about 70% of them na omabubo adia nema ya 70-80%. So just like Ushemwa, the same MPP so repeat. I mean, it's just the English language in an MBB exercise. So what you say, but the facts you say
NDC Ghana problems no and we are na wo ho enu nti na wo say oyiye no yiye na me je say wonchi say obi betuma ye bribi a obi reye na wa be hye mu kana na wa ye ne fefefa mfom so ben na
sa pepe nanka say intermeka say sincerity say you have to give credit to where credit is due. So you don't just come to paint everything, I mean, dark. We share, I mean, we tell you free MPP or can say a day and an MPP for NDC. But the fact is that we share at the time now, NDC, a living office, now inflation rate, now about 15%. And the inflation rate at the same, acquire to buy 54 to almost 55%. They say at this about to around 20. Just a little over 20% in the A. So what you say, we share that there are so many economic program and all that. Let me be brief. Also UGMC, first, I mean, world class first hospital. Let me be brief. Bank of Ghana Hospital, regional and district hospital. Let me be Roman. These are things I see our mind. So we shouldn't always paint everything. Black, Oshe Atwabo, is it not the MPP that is managing it? So what you see? So basically, electricity coverage now it was about 60.5 right across the country. During the MDC time, no, almost the echo 83.2%. What we'll be expecting is say MPP be say okay, now coverage 83%. Yes, so 83% this is what we want to be seeing. So what you say. So there are so many things. I to me because I buy beer bar or buy bibia or mine. Another, I was here correctly say, there was an economic crisis like AC 2008-2009, which affected country for several years, about 7 years or so or more. So what I say, so we have experienced economic crisis before. It's not only the pandemic. So during the NDC time, they have experienced economic crisis. We have also gone through economic crisis. So effects, so we should be very sincere to the fact. Nigeria America said we share about 70-80% of the NDC. It's just like the same thing. I mean, NPP last week I said it. We share. They talk about reducing hardships. And there are all the parties in our bar. We share NPP manifesto a womb. And there are previous manifestos, previous government. And there are almost extra say to me NDB ensure macroeconomic stability is not a new thing. If I say restore fiscal and debt sustainability, restore investor confidence. Yes.
Party be abe ne fam de baby wo ho nso ya to sing no ho niema niema ekoso nyina yenhwe NDC manifesto yenhwe adwene miles wo so wo behwe amanyuma aba na wo hwa esa na one previous performance any what be so asam no work an wo betuma ya ana 24-hour economy niema ewuwo mu no wo betumi ahwe se bebo ya ana wo hwe me person wo hwe honom job creation 24-hour economy na hwe governance wo kan bibi wo ho wo say wo be hwe say wo betew asoafo no ministers no wo betew so MPP dey MZC 60 oba ko dey 50 oba ko dey 60 sa ntetew so no ene wo be hwe wo nyina so wo be hwe na constitution won asesem no ho ne ma sansem no wo ka no so ade a yehia ne edikan na so obetuma ye ezanse sa party nyina wo ho na wo mem ha na niema bi hawo ye wo kan se wo nyina nso uti NDC a wo so wo behwe environment ho niema MPP nso ya kire wo adwene wo ho so NDC fo ne wo kan nyina wo betuma ya na
you don't me that say nkana me ba ho em say putting the two manifestos together no niema tumi hu say at least for the NDC manifesto, me inema minua metumi akase it stands out. Last week, going through the NDP manifesto, my conclusion is that something that will be remarkably different from inema ayeta. But for the NDC manifesto, I can see two things. Be a metumi say one, and one say 24-hour economy. No, it's something now implemented that. And who understand it, the impact now 24 economy between Britain. We have such an economy. So it tends to boost or enhance and never be brain a bit by supporting businesses, public organizations. So when you have your economy running at 24 hours, so it means that it's a very major thing about to me reduce your unemployment rate. It's a major issue. We share on manifesto on both NDC and MPP. Unemployment area
24-hour economy na say na wo ka Britain wana kade wo wakwampa nsupa akania wo mra no ho na so Ghana ye wo sa hoboya na ye betuma run 24-hour economy.
Senior e was say yes ye ni aya e was say yes as every PP. We need to begin to put in the necessary support to be near to me. We need to begin from somewhere, right? Because if you have an economy running 24 hours, so what you say, most of your sectors not running a year. So what do we need in order to realize the objectives of 24-hour economy? We need to begin putting. So it's a very major thing now. I think that we should not say, one of the panelists, Eka said, discourse, and we should not just I say concept. This is a major issue that to me attending your country around in terms of businesses, employment, so because when you have about like maybe 3 shifts, right, in 24 hours, certainly it is going to have significant impact on your economy. So it is something now, it's something we should not just rubbish. What is it necessary? Me abo and say, and then me aya, me ediapo. I was said, and she share ehiano, and that is what. And I think that within that, you know, NDC is if you look at the manifesto, Omo Eka Bibi said, I mean, it will be based on import substitution. So as an export promotion. Last week, I'm saying my final comments I'm making. I'm going to say we need to do what we need to export more and import less. And this is, I think, this is what I'm seeing in this particular manifesto. Because when you have import substitution now, local industries to grow, you have some factories now are establishing within. So they might be importing. Foreign hard currency, importing. So if we begin to do those things within locally, we'll be able to reduce the imports that ever. So if we have factories producing what and what, it means that we'll be able to export more, and then we'll have foreign exchange.
Now, on Dr. You, what can be one governance aspect now? Also, size of government, what better also. You size of government will better also. Na so at is what also na baby was what they do on one was what the baby do MC 60 you ministers. So you hear 60 ministers. You hear.
Doc, my question one. Hello. Manifesto
ni chere say size of government is pa.
Yeah, no, I am a question.
125 or about 80 something. Was the one what the baby 60. Now so 60 no. A year. When you say at say what also and as what it become. You.
Donc, me that say. The American say yes say it to me run you bet me run this country with the 60 ministers. So what you say, we don't need FM saying ministers do know and yet do know a bit to me aboye. System ministers, I think that is a bit to me is doable. But the point is that how committed will they be in terms of say appointed 60 ministers? Nienti Mikai say in the run up to lead up to the last election. MPP promised said they were going to run a very small size government. They ended up having over 120 ministers. Today, Uche MPP manifesto that they are going to have 50 ministers. So they should be telling us why they could not run small size government, or in terms of ministers. And then I promise to me, and rather they had more. And then, so what is, and then also I believe you said they can run with 50. Which NDC? NDC is saying that they are going to have 60 ministers. So what you say? So it is doable. I think that it will be the most efficient thing, the best savior. And a lot of things say, able to me, I have 60 ministers. But the question, and the Dr. Ansakwe kind of say, commitment to appoint 60 ministers or 50 ministers is the issue. One way of saying it is easy to say it, but doing it is another issue. So I think that for the MPP, looking at the previous some promise here, want to be and deliver, all that we hope that the NDC say they should keep to promise now because it's a social contract and almost sign it with Ghanaian. So when they are given the opportunity, I think that running the government with 60 ministers, a bit to me, abuaye.
NDC nina nkasa kakra na fe your friend me wura MPP nina nkuntu na asam no so me wura am ya meba ho na wawie wasam you me wura mpacha okasa me so you am se me so dro na afiri na eremo an wonzuma bomfa no ko phone
na pick one mini am ya
kasa no ntume nkane kasa you Mr. Miao to our so na yenko maybe say question be na menya anu yi me say muse agent act
precisely
asempa esan say obiara wundume hwe won a anyin wo woman mun na jere say won se bi won se won fata ya adwene pa nanka mo be yes ama won ade na mo yi won haircut.
Yeah, that means the domestic debt exchange.
Yes, penimfo ni bi wo ye hu yen mame chief justice.
Thank you for correcting that. Because the question no appeared to say it was targeted towards the elderly.
Oh, Debbie. Muso mo re yen chiche bi a ayi won enyin no mo baba bo. Asempa.
I was affected.
You na Mrs. Mo be yes am penimfo ade na mo yi won.
In any event, the finance minister has apologized. Has he not?
Said
the domestic debt exchange program was very hurtful, and that we apologize. We are sorry. It was a necessary evil. The economy, baby, and the economy, we were near collapsing.
The mother mo pachawa yenyendum na want to abamam. Obi so the osan oba no say
who has apologized for taking us through Dumso for 4 to 5 years when local small businesses were collapsing. People were in theater tables. Who apologized for that? Who apologized for that? And Dumso was okay, so we don't need an apology. If the economy is that bad, and we have apologized, and also after the apology, still now untie, do you know the quote through no? I won't apologize and on now so you consider no. But me comment opinion Dr. Obeka say or see 24-hour economy. And he made a statement saying me can say night class bear 24 hours and we should stop the concert and stop rubbishing it. I didn't say that. And I'm not making say you bear 24-hour economy our night club. And the former president, he said that. And this one no can I me bizarre. Why is it that a concert? Or I'm rubbishing it. Now me person me bizarre and say no, I can't say 24-hour economy no. And I did Britain for you. I wanted to ask him so also major me time and answer me how Britain is implementing 24-hour economy. There's nothing like that. You can't say economy running 24 hours. An end to a means.
Me remember me say in the NDC manifesto a double thing. So be pepper be fim abana.
Look, like me my kind of I may identify a lot of the things that my promise here they are being implemented or being done already. Opinion of Kasai Kram yet I say about 70% of their manifesto promises no. I nyoma say yeah dada. My issue as a Ghanaian first is that it's not just about the manifesto, but the individual no be leading manifesto no, for its onslaught. They be leading its implementation. Or you be say oh carry in modern board sometime pastor. Your man akonya say ensemble biwa ebeboana. And I'm saying that even with Okotna abontin for 8 years, I also a person back, you know. Now say your major policy, your flagship policy, and your 24-hour economy that you can't even explain yourself. You can't explain to the extent say what catch Ghana for say night class be 24 hours. If you catch say
24 24-hour economy no opa say say night club as someone kwa na wo ho. Sa na hu na yan.
Hwe you see abesa say
abeba say nsandodo.
Exactly. So even that one bad night na a woman tell me say that policy in itself. Anya ononkwa o, anya ononkwa. Obi ka tell say one 24-hour economy. You be nya njanta asebo any Virginia couple.
Bacho gina.
Ghana be edru ni.
Bacho NDC ne no wo so a miwura kasa na fe Dr. Nsakwe emrem. Em say Dr. Nsakwe.
Ba se me say baby on pacho.
Dr. Nsakwe beba. Na fe waba.
What am I that say?
Em say doc, I mean also
yeri tie wo.
Doc
Dog, the Edika, and go straight to the point. Now, maybe MPP, I make some assumption. Political science put to test. No, it is showing the lack of consistency in his presentation. Number one, Okasama Mpenda Mahama, Wabidi Akunyani Bikoda, and a background of trust and credibility. And it's a trust. If that assumption holds to there, let me flip the assumption to him. Mampania be the also to Frank Kama MPP no. A economic management team on the head under his watch no. Ghana has been reduced to a junk status. Will it be fair and right on my part to say that, and I'm so on the bracket, oh, Casamon to so a minor comment at Diabuso, or also the same patate to Abaman. Number two.
Bacho,
you have your time, Bacho, you have your time. Let me Bacho, please, you have your time.
Opening, Misamia, Bacho, no, Chiro, Winsome, Debbie, would it, Nanko Mono, and
Casano refer to your mammy making a point.
What is wrong? Oh, Mamma Brain now, so way, why? Bacho,
on the issue of corruption. The host may be saying, look, Mampanida da welcome corruption cause of okay, NDC cafe. Only a fool doesn't change his mind. And you know, in honest of sincerity, you be minus 8 years. You will say you're coming back, you know, in fighting corruption of manifesto, no policy a day by a tunidin aura, what is operation recover all the loot. And yes, are we telling ourselves so because so far about more no so be one. The manifesto is telling us that the general reporter for the past almost 8 years, MPP Atuna Kunyasino, Sika, I am embezzled, mismanaged account, I use a month for it is heading to almost 50 billion Ghana cedi. The NDC can say Ghana for a dom, next to Abamaye. Here, Yakonya before Banyan Piwa. Say a fancy corruption. We are not going to use the same old approach approach the oral approach, what is operation recover all the loot. And to be ordering said the water Pamboneso, and we are Manisika, and their question in party, and the minor wono. The next NDC government policy at the ban over Fiaba. Let me go to job creation. Because all reset opinion pool dance and the NDC government now unemployment rate is 8.2%. And now you can say no, it is a whopping 14.7%. You cannot tell me that about the unemployment amount 8.2%. Now we have 8.2%. And you have poly 14.7%. No, you are better than him. Even so far in nominal terms, in percentage terms, you are nowhere near the NDC. NDC government to say, in order to resolve that issue, you need to mitigate it social cancer. No, the evidence in joblessness angle. No, number one. She said the Oko part of France, part of US, UK, 25 economy, able to productivity, efficiency, improve tax revenue. No, the 25 economy said the economy will not sleep, tax revenue will go up, employment will go up, and we are going to move from import-driven economy to an export-driven economy where import substitution method. They are talking, and the Women Development Bank. All over the world, women are the chunk of the population. Statistically, in the Ghana population, a whooping 52.5 to 8%. Which I will say, so our baby a woman mercy casino because women constitute the greater chunk of the SME. Let me take you to India. I take you to South Africa and Kenya. I'll go India. They have specific several banks targeted the women empowerment. And this is say, yeah, but you are. You bring a my year, crap, yeah. Out the corporate to Casamua, a women development bank. As soon as one is number one. Or baby or digger. Now, here, what's an Embro 5,000 Ghana cedi, interest free. Yes, also me, or baby or person digger. Whether or a trader, importer, exporter, an entrepreneur, person or building a business base. Out here, Bosiano, and then between 5,000 to even a 50 million Ghana cedi, interest a minimum. About say no, about my mercy customer to Pombe creating after more people. There's also me National Apprenticeship Program. The host, Dog Bubisano said, National Apprenticeship Program, was a person debate. And yet, the other one, my nana, now say, M4 France, I didn't do a hot data. Does it not make economic sense to improve upon it? Or say, just 3 days ago, and this year by a launch, you're launching a manifesto 24th August. And then 31st of August, Rachel said the program they launched was an afterthought. And here come again and point in Asia say, you're launching a manifesto 24th August. You launched your program 3 days ago. Mathematically, 31 minus 24, 7 days. Where that was said, your launching of your national apprenticeship program about 3 days ago was simply because NDC has said it. You can't Ghana for say, your baby, and Sanujuma for Adepam 3 years, the Sanujuma for program na dey ban say we tisu ade ye betua enenye no ko a oni pon smart wie no upon who we are you better dey born say the seed capital you need to operate your own self-employed venture we shall provide it. Number 4.
Yeah, Mr. Miao, say oh sorry mumfanchem Mr. Techi say dinga bi ya me den tibiribia no me kambom mumfanchem Mr. Techi bacho som na memra Dr. Ansa doc what na say ache wa no ho iyo wo hwe ne ekosua South ase 24-hour economy wa hu biribia ewo ho a bebua yen ana wo hwe ayi governance won so ya wa hwe biribia bo an environment sa ne men abiesan boboso na wo hwe manifesto no mo na fi miura ameyawo emremu na fi yenko yen second topic na so yo
but so maybe our question 24-hour economy no we and yes no carry and yes simply a matter say one can say this could na win about 24-hour and the joke and for the joke no can say but that's by way of explanation. But what he means is say everything government departments will run on 24-hour basis. First shift, second shift, third shift, never be able to serve. And you know, it's the most just idea, and you just this could take away. But the point is that there were enough people that were better running a shift now. Lights in the honum. We both think third shift, second shift, and now in our context, in our condition. Doctor, I think you can't really say we have to start from somewhere. But is this the right time to start? I don't want to express an opinion on that. It's up to them. In the 24-hour economy, I'm working on environment and
governance.
Rather than governance.
What's governance? Corruption will be the size of government and a constitution.
That is the real point I want to make. Let's say, I say, you will fear Ghana, you fear. Na papa na mama, they be our That's what the political parties are doing, NDC and NPP. They be our what challenge one home. Now mufra and a fear no suffer. Says sana what you Ghana. The ordinary Ghanaian no suffer. Obia will come with very nice ideas, but they put party first, so they give you a partisan viewpoint. Well. And you know, just as Mr.
Now, Doc, I wouldn't say near Wakan, Waba, what to me and so.
The striking me in yes, won't to me yet. Any problem, no. A lot of talk they are not able to implement. Or they recycle the same old ideas with the same words. Even America, even a Dr. They can say 80% of near NDC mono are things that have been done or are being done. Even now, on also can say NDC kind. They did it that has been tried before. 80% the things we've agreed on. In fact, what strikes me in here, there are different things they are saying. It seems that they are all saying the same thing. Generally, better governance than you hear. Corruption, when you now focus on the economy, they give different dimensions to the economy. They all focus on the economy largely. They all mention corruption, but they don't take it serious. Because only one major issue facing this country. Where? Corruption was alleged against the NDC. This thing, airline sale, aircraft via Ghana.
Airbus.
We have Britain, Parliament, I can prove say a tough figure in Ghana was involved in that. When to me and say, I know very well here. Their corruption is just...
When I say OSP, they never report about things.
Oh, no, but that is not enough. Yeah, that is just not No, exactly. Who is that figure? Who they mention? Who is that figure? Who is that figure? Yes. Who is that figure? Yes, and they gave indicators. And you know, there must be enough proof to show that it is this or it is not. Who are they?
OSP sa report no.
Maybe I'm part of me explain. So we share and manifesto person you look at now. They talk about what they call ORAL.
Yeah.
Operation recover all loot. But what here 1 year, it seems the loot starts from Kufuor Bre and ends with Kufuor Bre. But the loot, you know, it goes far beyond Kufuor. So are we going to recover all those loot, or are we going to start from Kufuor Bre near Jai Honum? So the question is, the Assembly, over National Reconciliation Commission, they face that problem. Where do we start? In Chroma time, and I say Rollins time and compare. It is some from what they write.
Doc, my name is I alright. Who Osha say na we tua manyo sama woni mu no. Hefa no one starting fee.
Me anka Fourth Republic cramp. Between Akwecha, there's the Fourth Republic, 92. My come from at time. From that time, there were enough of that. Commissions in our home. And so then start just for the Fourth Republic. Forget about the Third Republic. Rollins man were a lot of commissions. They couldn't get much against Liman and Co. Yes, start from Fourth Republic. And for Rollins, no share, and Kosia Chua, and Bissine. And you see, say a whole number of things are there. And I knew say a whole number of things will come. And we pay. Sasi Bepreya would just say, among us, say, what to individuals. Both parties have done it. Both parties have done it. And then at cheap rates, Nima Bebre, and say a good idea, but the implementation, a beba. Now, Nyame can be some kind of say, manifesto politics. Now, I said, my papa na Mareko, na Mofana was so far. Because all the parties are really saying the same thing. I am struck by the fact that both parties are very close in their ideas. Nobody is saying anything radical. There's no revolutionary party in Ghana. Nobody is saying that we should nationalize lands. I'm not saying we here move. Nobody is saying that chieftaincy should be abolished. The constitution bans it. Nobody is crying for a fundamental change of the constitution. So in fact, there's a lot of agreement. There's a lot of agreement among Ghanaians. We agree on a lot of things. But then, it's when it comes to the implementation, that we put a lot of things wrong. We use different words to cover a whole number of things. Take, for example, with this commission, with Ami Dubai chairman, human rights, and then the human rights
Office of Special Prosecutor.
And to could say, baby, the idea was very good. But then I could see.
Say,
what has it achieved? What difference has it made in our body politics? The same perceptions are there. Well, I can't say we a perception. Politics is all about perception. Politics is all about perception. That's what politics is all about, perception. Not as if it will be a right or will be a wrong. But then, so the ordinary person does not trust both parties. I mean, that is why I still stand. So because I'm an ordinary person. No. Now, one buy say Papa Namareko, not that be a mofra bre. And the parties too ni nano minjiwundi. When you put to party and self-interest before the interest of the ordinary Ghanaian. Now we must hold them to account.
So what kind of issue of NDC? Kind of issue of the size of government? We say we hear one day.
Yeah, I say Papa Nama person we jump when walk out one thing. What the economy is better ho, what the tough better ho. Monjina monche. So man who nyansa na money the whole pet. Mugusu kasa hu ambe no walk. Sana parties no way yen. And what we enemy in Aba. But these are not the fundamental issues. One kasa when you're serious. One kasa when you're committed. One customer must be held to account to be more responsible because they are saving us.
So what are the fundamental issues?
The fundamental issues, they say, how can they must account. For example, Obikan Bibi say, and yeah, COVID and things were going right. And yeah, don't carry. But there's the other viewpoint, say COVID, you know, it worked to Ghana's advantage. Sani Binu Soreka said the amount of money we received as aid, you know, we got more rather than lost anything. Sika what the bread young no away he and fine he then I what the year. Abana Chenny maybe was a year, but people are questioning that. They are saying a tragedy, but money wise, you know, we income no what accrue to us more than we and you no carry and you no carry. Me can say no carry, me can say ya toro. But when I shame obi an shame ye. Enti money panja bandi, abani pe biaka so obi an jini ndi. Enti na obi koto aba. And yes, sir, with Jimmy O Sabi. Now we could to a bar. Or them sell. No can say when you know when Obia Basa. And to young ordinary people enjoy BND. Obia Basa. And to walk out with your beer, about child beer. Now I did. Open what to a man. Because one cannot quarrel. One put two on nation before anyway. I am struck by the scenario of what they are saying. I'm struck by the same weaknesses, the same failure.
But sir, Osha parties yampo Ghana a two-party state. In the NDC and we near MPP be winning.
I am say that's time you so the manifesto be turn na. My young fan send your person yeah. You focus just on the manifesto. Let us question they themselves. Let us question their motives. Let us remind them. A number of things are 1 year in the past that we go see I say were corrected. I can't very nice words resetting the past. Some person use the resetting, sir, and people use a different phrase. What's if going forward? They are not resetting anything, but just going forward. However you put it, you know, when you come back and say Ghana Mpuntu, Ghana development, when you work here. how have they been faithful to that? And then I say 1 year, then I say 1 year, then I say when I can. But people know I say say no carry. If you need sir, COVID as some Kenya, so what you need. If you start 24-hour economy, one want to mean to oh, you be brain. Say if I want, say what can we be another way. We must put them to task when more serious.
Because my last question, Doc, so one yes idea, working then I know.
Some people have started. The people can say no lights, no votes, no sell, no votes. We ordinary Ghanaian are paying kasa, piachu when politics so. So we win him. Nipe pia are apathetic to politics. One Joe BND, Minipe pia won for 2 more bia, Minipe pia one person can say why you ha, and answer why you ha. Because when you know who you are, one Joe BND, Minipe pia or discover her because we might miss it more. And it was say man or man who don't know BM because one G won't do. Obama ban or back Ghana or Africa or 2 Africa phobia. Names say who here far. We must build institutions. We must build institutions. And journalists, ordinary person, we must build big institutions. Now the political party seems to be the most developed institution in Africa. And the political party works for the interest of party members and the party, not a way.
Yo, say so I say mo na Jalilu, Dr. Jalilu mra oba na femi wura me yawo na ono so na asemo wo no waka. Jalilu, bremu we are.
Yo, Prof. Yo, senior me say.
Dr. Jalilu,
yo, Pacho me say. Say me nua ba ko ekasana o ka so me ka say. Hello. Okay. Yo, Missy Minia, the Amayao, I don't know, sorry, pardon me. And Mr. Okasaro, Osimika said, UK, a 24-hour economy. But a year no credit in this semi line, so Yamia do me line also, me inquire. Let me just refer to one article. In fact, with a simple search, you know, Emerson Kobe who said they have a nighttime economy, which is the 24-hour economy. For example, Obi Crutchrow article I friend Yaoni Edukra is just on your Ghana web. And when you go there, Okabibi was say it's estimated that Landis nighttime economy or called 24-hour economy contribute to 17.7 billion and 26.3 billion pounds. So at a gross value added to the UK economy in 2014. This figure is between 5 and 8 Okayan or Baha. Overall, the UK 24-hour economy is estimated to be 66 billion, with London presenting up to 40% of this figure, right? So the above figures indicate that 24-hour economy plays a significant role in the socio-economic development of the London area. Apart from where or natural, maybe in Casa at least, UK and Chekura, 10 years. So what I say, material police for the and one of the major issues in terms of security among the distribution of maybe or maybe a hotspot police in Louisiana. Said they will have to nighttime economy, not crime, also equal high. So they normally have a plan to have either more visibility in the UK. UK is at least so material man check 10 years here. You UK. So I mean, it's one of the effects. It's making contribution to the UK economy. Niameka say, lastly, on this particular matter, I think there is one other thing now, Manifesto Women's Development Bank. No? I think, and also here, idea a bit to me, Abua. I won't say it is a new initiative, but at least as a bank, as a bank now, initiative for women, no? I think it's a new thing. But it doesn't mean say this is the first time now I say Abua and Ma. I mean, we share a Greek banker previously some years, which means that to me, but this is because the first time I be a government person will take initiative, be a bit to me, Abua and Ma, in terms of some of the traditional banks on the collateral. Now was most women, they just need some little startup capital and I to improve on more, if I say, more finances. So this particular bank will be giving them a low interest rate and require very, stringent, collateral, loans. So I think it is a new thing. It's a very good thing to me abua oman ba ni nyina ne say we nyina ekoso a
so sa bank asema wo kan say sika wo de be bank wo kofa wen no aye wutie NDC manifesto na ye be say sa sika no ye de be yen efi bank no wo be nya sika no wen wo de aye ye pese ye hu me pese ye say Ghana fo yen hawo ne say enye say ye nkomo keke say o ye be ye bank amam ye be ye say na so ye be kwakunya sika ye de be bank no wen if say bank bebre wo ha o men so egu sika sam na ho ne ma so obenye sika wen no ya sa bank no yen adwin sa adom ka bibi kire na fe Mr. Ameyaw omre mu na ono nso nkire na adwin won nsem bi won fe makọ Dr. Ansakwe yo
right yo so not me that say and also na come so me back on say these are very good ideas. Now realizing them is another matter. So once in fact to mooting ideas a very difficult thing. So some to me initiative say the ambassador this is what we want to do. This is a manifesto, this is a proposal that they want to do. So certainly they will have to need some infrastructure. How are they going to do it? Maybe it's not government, it is not going to be maybe government in certainly they will have to have maybe a public-private partnership, or I mean they will give a lot of this into private institutions to be able to raise this, and then the government will have to give them the enabling environment, because that is the most important thing, creating enabling environment for such a bank to thrive. No? Because a bank to me, that's a juma, especially to me, a man, a boy, a man. Certainly, it will go in the record of the NDC. So I think, in my view, the government, I say, only create enabling environment.
Yes. Wanna talk a crabby man. Na FM you were friend and phoning so nan microphone so intra wonga dwene na fe nkomo no enwie peye
me da se pacho de edi kan eya empem bebre no yenuamo NDC for your comparison then they compare Dr. Mamudu Bawumia to former President John Dramani Mahama. Dr. Mamudu Bawumia has never been the president. He doesn't have the executive authority. Yamano Akwenya, or Mampeni Nemana Akwenya, say only bibi answer with him. President Mahama, I a president to that. And this year, NDC before Dr. Mamudu Bawumia, no. Let's compare when a former president was a vice president. Nagana phone bisa ye ho say, "Wamra no ye vice president no. E dia adwuma no ye ma o man Ghana. Wamra ne ye bɔ no ka etua ka bosumi bia no. What were the policies that he championed?"
Nti wuje dis wanye policy bia.
Mami bi.
Anyam na mema wo na wo ka.
Bisa ndis ni bi no ma obi.
Wo na me bisa wo, me wura. Wo na
wo ba ko guda, ba ko kra wa anye bi.
Wan hu ba ko.
Obi mema ye bi.
Yo, ko wanim.
Dr. Mamudu Bawumia ma 33 policies are why unquestionable, uncontestable, which is a fact. Then the issue of a year apprenticeship training now, Minya Techikan once and say it was an afterthought. Your copy really, BOT, you should do better than this. The portal for that training artisan program was open 20th November 2023. Your training on my way, they went through 3 months training. Before you even, in fact, me CEO nechi echo omo warehouse no more this startups no come on. That was even before you even launch your manifesto. So how come say we launch your manifesto we and you gather all that startups, bear 1 million startup packs. Any 10,000 people, we gather them within 3 days and send them to Techiman and give them certification. Jesus Christ. Pacho, any DMA dog. COVID, according to a reporter by, I might be wrong, but it was about 30 billion Ghana cedis. That 30 billion Ghana cedis was a budgetary support because of our shortfall of tax revenue because of the COVID. Now the question all of us must ask ourselves, say, it was a blessing. The first question is that Ghana, your tax revenue for the year, it's about 60 billion or even more. So if you have a situation in Ghana for a whole year. No airplanes and two. No tourism activity whatsoever. Transportation was affected. Freights were affected. Sabi uko airport ebi mba na ebi akọ. Airplane ebi mba ebi nko. Teacher 14 for 9 months. Yet government was paying them. A running shift in this country. You think it will not affect the economy? We were not going to lose money? So if we had budgetary support of 30 billion, I might be wrong. Now your budget, your tax revenue for a year, you bear 60 billion. Jesus.
Yo, you're simple. Yo, Mira. Monyan's a brilliant, you have my phone near them.
Near any way government be what we call accountability. Accountability. As some said to me, no, as some see the betray me say, we betray me by here, we betray me say, near media yin, and near name. Now, so what do you need to share? Now, when modding, one chair, now when you be an any man say support of 30 billion or whatever the figure is, billion. Now, there's no detailed account of how it was spent.
I'm sorry, but that's
Bajo Munsum na Obi war line so. Miura war line so. Benefo mo bebem nia Miura na se me na war line so. Mpacho ye bu phone mpacho kasa. Bodin na kire ba bia wo kasa fi.
Mpacho ye frem no wafata me fi amasaman.
Yi wafata mankomonko.
We dey the da a COVID there by the Abua MPP because Ushemua and I'm say about fence what they said you know Ushemua not COVID Ukraine Russia Ukraine war that is a Nimpana Russia Ukraine war no Nimpana your fence ye couldn't call for cry to bomb Konukuram or no cry on so who there accommodating and call for but it should be Ukraine and then Russia war no and you can't ban the kind of point in the war. And Russia-Ukraine war, Russia-Ukraine war, Russia-Ukraine war. And that's what I tell me. And I find a teacher trainee, and I find a nurse trainee. Me ba, I was me ba. The of school community. Young on Tanka once in the pool. Almost the kind of that where you find a nurse trainee. They are restored and they are restored. But also Pia. Let the band for the band nurses for the training. No, there was no almost Pia. Me ba our two who film community. The Tanka one city. And so much how one restore. That is why I find the idea Kurani.
Mura. Yeah, that's it. Paucho, a Tiffany I hear for no mercy no, Meritimu Bio. Away in TV no so 055 166 9325. Mpacho, Fred natural wagene. Mpacho Maukasa in your de, any one, and your yaw, and near bufu. Yo. You. Opening Pacho within Mante. Bobio.
From Kay.
Open day, Mancomonco. I shoot you.
Oh, Yemi can say, a fat airbus no honor. Yemi can say, you saw a man that die will or chief committee be no only a young investigation was airbus no. Now, if it's over, you know, Yan think of you into the committee, no, of Sunday, so me and saying, Yan think what's in the view. That means, oh, you're not a Twitana.
Oh,
I'm thinking that the man, Domahama, and Obedience. On chair, what committee, no, you must go see it. And Pahua. On chair 2014, our local accountability, 2014. Last time, talk about borrow, Brazil, you see it. 10 million on Kawasamian.
Yo, Mira.
Your man be up, Domahama, for the building. I'm telling you, for the building, inside on 1 year and then,
Yo, you had to question, no. Mpacho, Obi Fufro ha, o me yente nka. Yo. Mpacho, se braso ya, ete se, me kan WhatsApp messages kakra, na etiefo, eni ahwefo, ohu ni ekro.
O kan WhatsApp messages, yeah. Once, me make a point about a 24-hour economy in the UK. There's nothing like 24 hours economy in UK. In fact, London, See that, let's not confuse the people.
You, Mira, so
London is not the whole of
Mira. Mira, so many men can a telephone here for one message. Good morning, please. Yo, good morning, please. I am Andrews from Kwabenya. Please ask Ms. Amayao if the MPP have created over 2 million genuine jobs. What is the unemployment rate and why are we still not getting jobs? Ask him. The Ebola is which crisis? What did they use the COVID money for? Mr. Yo, obi wa line also. Mpacho onipa akono onkasa mayen. Mr. Mayor mpacho chiro sa seminar we ya no
Hello.
Obeni mpacho bo udin na chire baby a wo kasa fi.
Hello.
Yo, yeto nka mpacho kasa.
Bacho, good morning.
Morning oh.
Bacho, good morning.
Yo, yeto nka kasa udin ani baby a wo kasa fi.
Bacho, your friend Daniel Kojomafu.
Yo, obeni kasa.
Bacho, your friend.
Yo, Mr. Miao, Bacho, Chirawa, Wasamani uncle.
There's nothing like 24-hour economy in the UK. A 24-hour economy in London. And London is not the whole of UK. You see, the 24-hour economy now, Ghana 24-hour economy, it's not implemented like that in any part of the world. You just take one city and then use that one city and say, oh, now obey a 24-hour economy. How do you tell me, say, passport office? Ever running 24-hour economy. So you are telling me, say, about now 2 a.m. Imran say you muja camera chi. One ebe born ahomachi 2 a.m. so call passport office or call the passport. How does that make sense? Who is going to DVLA send a license into a sorry ahomachi 3 a.m. into a call DVLA? What's it because we provide security? Now no me radio station. We almost remember 25,000 employ 25,000 security personnel. One minute oba ya cry and call baby ya cry. What's ya you na
yo Mira, jina obi wo phone so. Mpacho.
Hello.
Yo Mira, mpacho chirewudin na baby a okasa fi.
Mpacho your friend is Same. Me kasa fi of Ankoberia.
Opening yankasa.
Mpacho program na mo ye ni je ho pa na Mahama nyuma ye no and so ye ni it sanse first ye the presidential e dia shawunsa say ye dwuma na fabua ye chief driver wako jayan ahwe ho dada sisi adubre a driver na nkasa ba say ye befa car no ududum so dia man ye sa this summary. Yeah, you were free. So, what's up? Say, what's up? At the end, the call doing some. If you want to say, MYA, on sick from no company chief driver, no, you know, and tranching with the mercy.
Yes, yeah, that's it. You, Mpacho, Miss Amiao, Memo, Sima, 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah.
You.
Ebio, you see, so we share MPP, a manifesto now. There are 3 policies, I think it's a standing out a bit more mine. I'm talking about gold for oil. Now we are talking about your exchange rate regime. So we Ghana printed dollars. And also you demand a year we know a year dollars near they satisfy that demand. With the gold for a year oil no, and our gold purchasing program no, we can buy gold locally. So we are empowering the local small scale miners now. Thereby getting gold in our vote. Said the beya ye hear dollars now. You bet me a far gold, you know, near the koji dollars. And no be here sika kesia. Now no your man penny be the chief rank 2 former AMPP man you couldn't catch say. Now it could be $3.1 billion. So time you could fast as can away. Ne money o gold wo your time gold in man or the koji sika. It's a fantastic policy. I think say beboa amasa exchange rate regime no. Etimi aso.
Nkrofo say I don't know gold out ko je oil.
How now go that? Why are they asking that?
Yeah, will be some.
Because we have dollars to buy the oil. And dollars currency. You have a lot of demand for the dollars in Ghana, you printed dollars. So instead of the dollars now, also CDs no now they are koto. Now yes sir, you are weakening your CD no. But gold need your money mudada. Now now ABOB turn the fan guama. Say any background butter trade. Ebia Jimmy Gold is worth Ebia 2 million, 300 million, 100 million. J Namami Oyola. I think it's the most fantastic idea. A year of Mampenia be the Chilibia dia ba or see some
yo. Medase. Mamenko Jalilu, Dr. Jalilu. 1 minute. Dr. Jalilu, Mama Usima.
All right, yo, Dr.
Yo, Dr. Jalilu.
Yeah. Right. So the American say political parties or more manifestos, yes, a proposal, a social contract. So what we are hoping they say they should put in measures in order to be able to implement them, because over the years, manifesto team be eba, and yet our citizens are still not satisfied. And idea, say they have to do that. Say on the 24-hour economy, maybe I can say even from what I have read, that UK is about 66 billion, and London, the representation of the 66 billion is about 40%. Me maintain London, me UK, me Nottingham, and I know that factories and other things work 24 hours. So basically, but that is that is the fact. So as a manifesto NDC for manifesto. So for me, I think that the 24-hour economy idea a bit to me abua, right? So it has to do with also to me implement it. And then lastly, the Women's Bank, idea a bit to me so abua.
Sonia, as I said, parties need at least 2 parties need one manifesto. Abba, we can stop one them, right? Na we ebe my Andrew Manto, my Nyama Adrian. Now, Monyama can say what they be, say young Ghana for so ordinary people, the general public, civil society, I say yes, so no, you for manifesto serious. Now your question one, now you sure say a social contract into what power, you have a beer, obey any one can.
Yo, a tearful near her for Mze, Ahana, Bere Bamayan Pang. Young asama question to see a being young and to my muscle. When you ma young